All right. Good afternoon, all of you, or good evening, all of you. Yes, we'll start. So, meanwhile, we'll take the yes. So, I had given, I think, two homework problems, right? So, I'll discuss them. Then I'll move after that. So, this was your first problem. Right? Now, when you treat it with HBr, so first, same process. In the presence of H plus, the bond will break like this, and you'll get a carbocation. This carbon will take H plus, and you'll get a carbocation here. Both sides you'll get a secondary carbocation, but there is a methyl group which can exert a plus psi effect on this carbocation. So this carbocation will be more stable. But the point to note here is, now you cannot do the shift of this methyl group. This shift of methyl is not allowed. Methyl shift not allowed. Why? Because if you do the methyl shift, you'll get this carbocation. And I told you this is bridge position, right? I told at bridge carbon, sp2 hybridization cannot be possible. sp2 hybridization can't take place. So that is what I told you, that at bridge position, you cannot have sp2 hybridization, because sp2 hybridization means planar. This carbon, because it is connected to another ring, cannot become planar. If it becomes planar, the other ring will break. So this carbon cannot assume sp2 hybridization. This is also called Brett's rule. So that means at bridge position, you cannot have carbocation, you cannot have double bond also. sp2 hybridization is not possible. So you will not do the rearrangement. Simply Br minus will come and attack your carbocation. Br minus will come and attack your carbocation. Methyl will remain here only. Some ring shifts and all can happen, but that will be your product, right? So no rearrangement of carbocation in this example. Now the second homework was, I think this was the molecule. Right? Now this was treated with DBr. That means D plus and Br minus. So it does not matter, you can add on both sides. You will get a carbocation. You'll get a carbocation here. Any carbon you can form a carbocation. So let's say this carbon takes H plus. So this carbon will get a carbocation. Right? Now remember, carbocations are sp2 hybridized. So Br can come above the plane. It is planar. Carbocation is planar. Now Br minus can come from the top as well as from the bottom. So your product can be this is CH2. You can have wedge Br above the plane dash hydrogen. This is also correct. And if you draw it like this, H dash Br, Br below the plane, hydrogen above the plane. Both are correct. Both compound 1 and compound 2 will be correct. Yeah, D. It will be D. Sorry, Adesh. It will be D. It will be D. DBr you are adding. So it will be D. So this carbon is also chiral. This carbon is also chiral. Both the carbons are chiral carbon here. Now with that, they here also Br, D can be above the plane, H can be below the plane, or D can be below the plane and H can be below the plane. Both are possible. Both possibility exist. Both possibility exist. Right? So if you see stereochemically, there are more than one product possible. How many products are possible? 2 chiral centers. So you can check the possibility of these arrangements is 2 to the power 2. So you can arrange 4 such products, right? You can arrange 4 such products. You can arrange 4 such products. So if any of those 4 is given in option, that will be correct, right? It was D, Ganesh. I have corrected it. So let's say this is also above and hydrogen is below. Now next two you can draw by keeping deuterium below, hydrogen above. So in this case, I have kept this carbon same and changed the configuration of this carbon. Second case, you can keep the deuterium bromine same and change the deuterium. So these were the 2 homework problems that we had. So let's move towards today's topics. So we were discussing preparation of alkenes, and I think we have discussed so far 5 methods of preparation, I guess. So let's say this is our 6th method of preparation. This is the most important method of preparation. Ozone lysis of benzene. So ozone lysis of benzene was also there. Okay, so ozone lysis, there were a lot of homework, I think. So I will solve one of them. There were a lot of homework from ozone lysis, so I will solve one of them. So if you take ozone lysis like this, I told you, you can directly, yeah, that also I'll do. If you take ozone lysis of this, you can put oxygen in between 2, double bond and bisect. Now, before you do that, remember every carbon has a hydrogen. Do not forget that. Now put oxygen between 2 carbons and try to bisect it. You'll get double bond bisected here, double bond bisected here, double bond bisected here. So when you do that, your product will come out to be, I'm writing 3 bonds as such, right? Now, let me number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, first carbon, this carbon is C double bond O, and there is a H. Now, second carbon also C double bond O and H. Third carbon also C double bond O and H. Fourth carbon also C double bond O and H. Fifth carbon C double bond O H. Sixth carbon C double bond O H. So you'll get 3 molecules of CHO. Right? You'll get 3 molecules of CHO, Chirag. Now, next, Mohit, I exactly do not remember the example I gave you. So I'll take one bridge compound and do its ozone lysis. So I think this was the alkene, right? So if you do methyl here, Then you carry out its ozonlysis in zinc. Right? This is with zinc. If you do not add zinc, this will form CuH. This will also form CuH, carboxylic acid. Right? It was mono substituted product. Narek, I did not get your point, beta. Narek, I did not understand what you said, mono substituted product. So now you put the oxygen between these two and bisect. So when you put the oxygen between these two and bisect, what are you going to get? Bridge will remain as it is. Methyl is there. This carbon will get C double bond O. This carbon will also get C double bond O. This carbon has one hydrogen. So you'll get aldehyde here. You'll get ketone here. All right, Mohit, I hope it is clear. Right? Yes. Let's move ahead. I hope, Mohit, it is clear. Right. So next we have to study today about we have seen many of the reactions of alkene. The reactions which we are studying today are the most important ones. They will come in your second year also. Right. So therefore, please learn them carefully, very carefully. So this is, let's say, our sixth method of preparation. Addition, sixth reaction of alkene. Addition of water molecule. Right? Addition of H2O, water. So if you take to give you a brief, if you take a simple alkene, try to add water. So H will go to that carbon which has Marconico rule. H will go to that carbon which has more hydrogen. So this carbon will take H, this carbon will take OH. So you'll get propane 2-ol. Simple addition is like this. But addition of water takes place by three mechanisms. I'm going to write all three of them. So please pay attention. It follows three mechanisms. Right? So first is addition of water. First reagent I'm writing. When you add water in the presence of H plus, that means when you add water in the presence of H plus, then what will you get? 1 minute. So when you add water in the presence of H plus, so if you add water in the presence of HCl or H2SO4, which can give H plus ion, then it follows this mechanism. So what happens here, key points here are, I'll tell you the mechanism. The most important point here is carbocation is formed as intermediate. I told you every reaction where carbocation is formed, you should remember it. So carbocation is formed as intermediate here. And all of you know, what does carbocations do? What is the speciality about carbocations? What is the speciality about carbocations? What do they do? Yes, they do rearrangement. So they have tendency to show rearrangement. Now I have already explained you the rearrangement can be of three types: hydride or methyl shift. I'm not going to give you examples of all of them now. I'll give you only one example: ring expansion and then ring contraction. Right? So now these are the three possibilities. I will solve for one mechanism, other you have to do yourself. Right? So now let's say our first mechanism here is hydride and methyl shift. How can we do this? Right? Hydride and methyl shift. So I'll take this alkene CH3, and let us take H here. You'll get CH double bond CH2. This is your alkene. Let's say you added water in the presence of H plus. So first H plus presence, like electrophilic addition, pi bond will break like this to give you secondary carbocation. and you'll get CH3H CH plus, and CH2 minus will take H plus and become CH3, right? So you'll get secondary carbocation. Now this secondary carbocation will rearrange, hydride shift will happen from next carbon, and you'll get a CH2 here, CH3 here. You get a tertiary carbocation here. Now next step mein what will happen? You have added water. So see carefully this one. You have added water. So water contains lone pair of electrons. Carbocation has empty p orbital, sp2 hybridization. Empty p orbital, sp2 hybridization. So water, oxygen will go and donate its lone pair to carbon. So carbon will form CH3, CH3, CH2, CH3. Here you'll get O has donated lone pair, oxygen has donated lone pair, so it will get what charge? Positive charge, right? How can oxygen now remove this positive charge? It will lose this H plus. So that if it removes this H plus, oxygen will get negative. Oxygen is already positive. If it gets negative now, it will become neutral. So what you'll get? CH3, CH3, OH, CH2, CH3. So this is obtained as your major product. This water can attack this also. Water can attack this also. Water can attack this carbocation also, and you'll get this product. But your major product will be the one which we have done before. This is your minor product, whereas this is your major product because it is obtained from stable carbocation. Yes, all of you, please go through the mechanism. If you have any doubts, please ask. All of you, please go through the mechanism. If you have any doubts, please ask. Yes, students, go through the mechanism. If you have any doubts, you can ask. All right. So now this is a shift example, right? Now ring expansion, ring contraction. I'm not writing the mechanism here. I'm giving you the question because we have already done ring expansion in two mechanisms, electrophilic addition and dehydration. So this is your alkene. When you treat it with HCl, not HCl, when you treat it with water in the presence of acid, what will you get? This is your homework 1, let's say. What is your homework 2? This is ring expansion. All of you can see this carefully. Then ring contraction mechanism also you'll write yourself. 1 minute. Yes. Cycloheptene. We had done this mechanism yesterday also. So H2O in the presence of H plus. These two example mechanism you have to write and practice, so that you'll be clear with ring expansion and ring contraction. All right, students. So I hope you understood that addition of water in the presence of acid follows carbocation mechanism, right? Now let us take the second method, that is hydroboration oxidation. Hydroboration oxidation. Hydroboration oxidation. All right, Fiza. Just message once it is done, Fiza. All right. So see this. Hydroboration oxidation is very important. I'm writing the key points here first, then I'll give you the example. First thing, most important thing, no carbocation. If there is no carbocation, will rearrangement occur? No rearrangement. No rearrangement means no ring expansion, no ring contraction, nothing. Just take H, just take OH, add to double bond. Just take H, just take OH and add to double bond. Prajwal, voice is from my end, it is clear. Just check once again, Prajwal, maybe due to internet, it is happening, right? So what I was saying was this thing, no rearrangement, no ring expansion, nothing. Take H, take OH, add, simple, no ring rearrangement. Second thing, and the third thing, sorry, most important thing, H and OH follow syn addition. Since I'm not going to discuss the mechanism of this, I'm basically giving you all the points which come out from the mechanism, right? It's hydroboration. Okay, I know it is written very badly. I'll correct it. It is hydroboration. Hydroboration, right? There was a professor called H.C. Brown, if I remember his name correct. He was responsible for giving this reaction, hydroboration oxidation. He was also a Nobel Prize winner in 1970 something, I think. Right? I have worked under his student. That's why I remember his name very well. His student was my guide. So H and OH follow syn addition. That means both the H and OH will come from the same side, like alkyne KMnO4. Then next important thing here is rearrange. What is the reagent you will use? So the reagent which you use here is B2H6. By now you have studied P block. You should be knowing that BH3 exists as dimer B2H6, right? So your first reagent is B2H6, and your second reagent is H2O2 in the presence of NaOH. You can write NaOH. NaOH, right? Diborane. Yes, Purvam. Right? It is diborane. Now, in this particular case, if you see this carefully, as I told you, I'm not discussing the mechanism. So I'll tell you how to write the product. The product will be anti-Markovnikov addition. Anti-Markovnikov addition of water. Water means H and OH, right? Anti-Markovnikov addition of H and OH will take place. Another important thing. What is the role of B2H6? B2H6 gives hydrogen, whereas H2O2/OH minus, this gives OH. So these all information is obtained from mechanism. Right now we are not discussing its mechanism. I'll directly write the reaction and move on. I'll explain its mechanism in alcohols chapter in second year, right? But I'll definitely tell you most of the questions you can solve without mechanism also, right? Now see carefully, all the questions. Now see this carefully. If you take propene, easiest example we will take. If you take propene and you add B2H6 to it, H2O2 second reagent in OH minus or NaOH. NaOH will give OH minus. So anything you can write. So the carbon having anti-Markovnikov, the carbon having less hydrogen will take hydrogen. So this carbon, which I am labeling as yellow, will take hydrogen, and the white carbon will take OH. So your product obtained will be H here and OH here. So simple. The carbon having less hydrogen takes hydrogen. Right? I'll write it here. Carbon having less hydrogen takes hydrogen and vice versa. Now let us take more example. If you take methyl here, right? You want to draw its product. So you add the same reagent which we have taken above. So what will happen? First question you have to ask yourself is which carbon will take H, which will take OH. So now see, this carbon is not having any hydrogen, whereas this carbon is having H. So the yellow carbon is having less hydrogen, so that will take hydrogen. So your product will be this carbon takes hydrogen and this carbon takes OH. What about its stereochemistry? Its stereochemistry will be both hydrogen and OH will be on the same side. So HOH both are above the plane. Then methyl should be below the plane. Right? If OH is above the plane, hydrogen should be below the plane. Right? Both H and OH should be added from the same side. Right? Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change my reagent slightly. If I take B2D6, instead of H, I'm taking deuterium in the presence of H2O2 and OH minus. Then what is going to change? So I told you, right? What is the role of B2H6? It gives H. So if you take B2D6, instead of H, what will be added? D. That is the only change. So you'll get methyl below the plane and deuterium will come above the plane. OH also above the plane and H below the plane. Right? Kiran, the first reagent is same. B2S6 in H2O2. And if you are asking here, Kiran, then this is the D, deuterium, deuterated diborane. Right? Now, another possibility is if you take B2H6 only with H2O2 rather than OH minus, you take OD minus. So then what will change? I told you here, this gives OH. So instead of OH, what will be added? OD. Rest everything is same. Methyl below. Now it is H. So H will be added above. Instead of OH, you'll add OD. You'll add OD and here you'll have hydrogen below. All right. So this is your hydroboration oxidation. 3 things to keep in mind. First, anti-Markovnikov addition of HOH. Second, HOH come from the same side. Third, B2S6 gives hydrogen and H2O2 OH minus gives OH. These 3 things are the only things you have to keep in your mind. All right, I'm scrolling it again. So see carefully. No carbocation, no rearrangement, HOH in addition, rearrangement, anti-Markovnikov addition, B2S6 gives H, H2O2 gives OH. Then I have taken the examples. Right? Sonali, what are you asking? No, they will be added one by one. That's why I'm writing. No, first this, then second this. They're added separately. If we take B2D6 and OD, then then D and OD will be added. If you take this case, B2D6 and OD minus with H2O2, then in that case, both side D will come. Methyl, D above the plane, and here also OD. right? I hope it is clear now, Sonali. I have taken that example also. Now, next method for addition of water is, we have done two. What are those two? First, second hydroboration. Third reaction is, third addition of water is oxymercuration, demercuration. Oxymercuration, demercuration. This is third way of adding water, right? That to Ashutosh, I have to check. Ideally, it should be bridge ones only, right? Ideally it should be bridge ones only, because they are weaker bonds, right? But ideally, if you see, B2H6 in a mechanism does not exist as B2H6. It reacts as BH3. You add it as B2H6, but it reacts as BH3. So all three hydrogen of BH3 are identical. So therefore, it does not matter whether bridge is going or terminal is going. Now, oxymercuration, demercuration, again important points. No carbocation. This implies that no rearrangement. No carbocation, so no rearrangement. Next is Markovnikov addition. Markovnikov addition of H2O. Markovnikov addition of H2O, that is H and OH. That means hydrogen will go to that carbon which has more number of hydrogen, right? Third, H and OH are added anti to each other. Anti to each other. That means they will be added from opposite sides, right? Then, yeah, that's all. Reagent that you use here is mercury salt, mercury acetate, OCO-CH3. Mercury acetate whole twice. This can also be written as HgOAc whole twice. Any of these two, right? This is first. Then second reagent is NaBH4. NaBH4. So these are the reagents you will add in this reaction. So quite simple again. Markovnikov addition. If you take HgOAc whole twice and NaBH4, so the carbon having more number of hydrogen will get hydrogen. So the carbon having less number of hydrogen, that is this carbon, will get OH. So you'll get propane 2-ol. So if you want propane 2-ol, use oxymercuration, demercuration. If you want propane 1-ol, use hydroboration, oxidation from alkene. Now, if you take this same alkene and carry out this reaction, now this carbon is having less hydrogen, so that will take, let's say methyl is below the plane, so OH is above the plane. So here hydrogen will come below the plane, right? So this is how the addition takes place by oxymercuration, demercuration. Now a window of 5 seconds. If you have any doubts, you can ask. I'm raising a poll here. I'm going to raise a poll which you need to answer. This whole thing is OAC. O acetyl group. CH3CO is called acetyl group. So OAC is CH3CO group, acetate ion. Sonali. Now I'm raising a poll. You need to answer it. If you take this reactant, addition of reagent A gives you OH, B gives you OH, C gives you this, right? So what is options are? Options are A is H2O in H plus, B is, I'm writing in short, right? I don't want to write the whole reagents again. Hydroboration oxidation, and C is oxymercuration demercuration. Option B, A is oxymercuration demercuration, B is H2O in H plus, C is hydroboration oxidation. Option C, A is H2O in H plus, B is oxymercuration demercuration, C is hydroboration oxidation. D, A is hydroboration oxidation, B is oxymercuration demercuration, C is H2O in H plus. Kindly do it fast. You have to identify the reactions given here. Yes, do it fast. All right. So we are going to end it on a count of 3. So please vote fast. Please vote fast. Where is C? C is there, man. Oh, common sense, man. Use bit of common sense. All right. So we are going to end it on a count of 3, 2. So please vote fast. 3, 2, 1 now. So you can see here, this is quite easy question. So ring expansion is happening, means A has to be H2O in H plus, because then only rearrangement can happen. That means answer is either A or answer is C, right? Now here, the carbon having more number of hydrogen is getting hydrogen. So it is Markovnikov addition. Markovnikov addition means oxymercuration demercuration. So second option is oxymercuration demercuration, hydroboration oxidation. So correct answer is C. A is wrong. Many of you have answered it correctly. Many are still stuck between A and B. So I hope it is clear to everyone now. I hope it is clear to everyone now. Vijayalakshmi, it is not A, it is C. This is C. This is oxymercuration demercuration product. This is oxymercuration demercuration product. All right. Let's take the next set of reaction. That is allylic halogenation. Allylic halogenation. Right? What do you mean by allylic halogenation? So what do we mean by this? So see carefully. there are two reagents you need to know, right? So if you take double bond and treat it with chlorine in Cl2 in CCl4, we have seen it yesterday, right? If you treat it with Cl2 in CCl4, you get anti-addition, right? And addition occurs at a double bond. But if you treat it with chlorine at 250 degrees Celsius, sorry, chlorine at 500 degrees Celsius, if you heat it, good question, Kiran. I will answer it when it is finished. So chlorine at 500 degrees Celsius, if you see this carefully, at high temperature, reaction follows free radical mechanism. Free radical mechanism, right? So chlorine will break to give you two Cl radicals. Now that Cl radical will abstract allylic hydrogen, double bond. Next carbon is called allylic carbon. So it will abstract homolytic cleavage. It will abstract hydrogen from the allylic carbon. HCl is eliminated, and you'll get allylic free radical. Why allylic free radical? Because allylic free radical is stabilized by resonance, right? Allylic free radical allylic free radical is stabilized by resonance. Now what will happen? Next Cl radical will come and combine with this position so that Cl will be attached at allylic position. This is called allylic halogenation. Allylic halogenation. Right? Keep this in mind. When you take chlorine at 250 degrees Celsius, it will follow free radical mechanism, generate allylic free radical, because allylic free radical is stable, right? Once it is formed, Cl radical will attack that allylic position and Cl will come at allylic position. So high temperature, free radical mechanism, right? Dhanush, because if you break the double bond, why it will not break? Because you will not get, if you break a double bond, you will not get stable free radical. If you break the double bond, you will get this radical. Let's say Cl attached here. So this is normal alkyl free radical, but this free radical is stabilized by resonance. This is not stable free radical. Therefore, double bond will not break, Dhanush, right? Maybe Samruddha. All right. So I hope it is clear. Yes, students, allylic halogenation happens at high temperature. Chlorine at high temperature, allylic halogenation. Chlorine at normal temperature in CCl4 solvent, anti-addition. Right? Remember this. This is very, very important. Instead of Cl, can we take Br? I think so. Yes, you can take Br. Br will also show the same mechanism. So in first step, Cl will break homolytically to form two Cl radicals. One of those Cl radical will go and abstract hydrogen from allylic carbon. Why allylic carbon? Because this H radical will combine with Cl radical to form HCl, and this carbon will get a free radical. Now this free radical, allylic free radical, is stabilized by resonance. Therefore, you will get a free radical at allylic position. Now the second Cl radical will combine and attack your allylic free radical to form a bond with it, right? So I hope it is clear. Chlorine is a molecule, Cl is atom. That is the difference, Rohan. All right. Now there is one more reagent you can use for the same process. What is that reagent? Let us see. This is, let's say, A, allylic halogenation part A. Now the second reagent you can use B is NBS. NBS is known as N-bromo-succinamide. It is known as N-bromo-succinamide. So if you see its structure carefully, its structure is given by succinic acid amide. So amide of succinic acid is this. So this is your structure of succinamide. If you remove hydrogen and put Br here, then it becomes N-bromo-succinamide. What is the role of this? It releases Br2 very slowly. So if reaction happens very slow, it will happen at that position where stability is more. And where stability is more, allylic free radical stability is more. So therefore, bromination will happen at allylic position. If you take the example, same example, propene, treat it with NBS in sunlight, your product obtained will be alkene will remain as it is, allylic position pe Br will attach, right? So that is the role of NBS. It gives Br at allylic position. This is the role of NBS. Now, let us take another example. If you take cyclohexene, right, like this, and you will get NBS, sunlight. So I'm writing two products here. Tell me which one will be formed. Br methyl Br, right? Now you can see this is product 1, this is product 2. So, or let's say this is A, this is your pole. We'll answer it as a pole. I don't want you to jump on it. So answer it as a pole. Don't jump on it, answer it as a pole. I don't want to see flood in the chat. So answer it on a pole. Which will be formed as the product? Product A or product B? Quickly. Guys, I can see there are some intelligent people here who are answering C and D. At least respect your precious brain and don't answer C and D. I hope you are smart enough to decide there is no option C and D here. So just don't vote for voting something. Your brain is highly precious, so respect it. If you don't know the answer, don't vote. But when you vote for the option which is not there in the options only, then it is a bit tricky. All right, Aditi, let's see whether you are right or wrong. So I'm going to end this polling in a count of 3. So please vote fast. So on a count of 3, wow. Rajshekhar, I'm giving you the option C. None of the above. On a count of 3, 2, 1. We are ending it now. All right. So most of you have voted for A. Some of you have voted for B. Let me tell you, the correct answer is B. Wow. The correct answer is B. So see, this is your double bond. Next to double bond is this carbon and this carbon. Both are allylic. Both are allylic carbon. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to basically answer, I'm going to form the free radical at both allylic position. So one allylic position will be at this carbon So let's say methyl as it is. This is your allyl free radical. Then next will be, if you remove hydrogen from here, right, then your free radical obtained will be at this carbon, right? Now check which free radical is stable. Both of them are stabilized by resonance. Double bond, next carbon, free radical, double bond, next carbon, free radical. So both of them are next to a double bond. So both of them are stabilized by two resonating structure. So two resonating structure is common in both of them. Now we will check hyperconjugation. If you see this carbon, it has 3 alpha hydrogen here, 2 alpha hydrogen here. So total 5 hyperconjugating structures. If you see this carbon free radical, it has 2 alpha hydrogen here only. So 2 hyperconjugating structures. So this is more stable free radical. So it will be formed in the reaction. It will not be formed, right? And if free radical is formed here, then Br radical will attack this position, right? So your answer here will be B, right? Answer here will be B. Congratulations, Charan, you got the answer. So Charan is very happy with the answer. So Charan is so happy. Charan will definitely give us treat. All right. Methyl and bromine. Oh my God. They will, of course, they will repel, but repulsion will not be the major factor here. Aditi, the major factor here is stability of free radical. The major factor here is stability of free radical, right? Now we are almost done with our all reactions of alkene. I'll give you polymerization of alkene also, but that is not so important. So I'll just write the reaction. Polymerization of alkene is not so important. So I will just give you the reaction. So alkenes on polymerization and isomerization. I'll give you both. So for example, ethene on polymerization, you use a catalyst TiCl4 plus R3Al, trialkyl aluminum. This is called Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Ziegler-Natta catalyst. So if you use this catalyst, so what will happen? This is N molecules. If you use of this, pi bond will break and you will get long chain of this. So ethene will be connected to each other to form many ethenes, which is called polyethene. So ethene on polymerization will give you polyethene. And if you talk about isomerization, if I take but1ene and I treat it with catalyst and heat it, right? And catalyst here is AlCl3. You can use AlCl3 as the catalyst here. Then it will undergo isomerization and give you but2ene. That is a position isomer. You'll get but2ene to but2ene, but1ene to but2ene. Or you can also get this. 2-methylpropene. So this is called isomerization reaction. Not so important. Just remember the catalyst and reaction. That's all. It will not be asked. Now we are going to quickly take alkynes. Right? Let's see what are alkynes. We can aram se finish its preparation. There are very few preparation of it. We can even do physical properties. So alkynes are compounds having general formula CnH2n -2, right? And carbon have triple bond between them. So hybridization of carbon here is sp, bond angle here is 180 degree, right? All right, Rajshekhar, you can take it down. All right. So now, if you talk about their preparation, so it has similar preparation methods like alkene. Whatever you have done for alkene, same thing will be done for alkynes also. So alkenes you studied dehydrohalogenation. So we'll use the same method here also by dehydrohalogenation. But now it is not dehydrohalogenation, it is double dehydrohalogenation. That means you'll do it 2 times. So when you take alkyl halides, remove hydrogen halogen 1 time, you get alkene. Remove it 2 times, you'll get alkyne. For example, if you take H, X, X, H, what can be your X? Chlorine, bromine, fluorine, iodine, any of these. And if you treat it with, what was the reagent we used for dehydrogenation? Alcoholic KOH. If you use alcoholic KOH, I told you RO minus base is formed. So X goes from this carbon, from the next carbon, H plus is eliminated, carbon negative, carbon positive will form a double bond. Right? You'll get this. Yes. Now, again, you'll do dehydrogenation, but you have to use a separate reagent now, that is sodamide, NaNH2. You use NaNH2 as the reagent, and again X and H, dehydrogen and halogen will be removed, and you'll get alkynes. Right? So 2 times if you do double dehydrogenation, you will get alkynes. Right? Now let's take the second method. We took gem dihalide and vicinal dihalide for preparation of alkenes, and we did dehalogenation. So we'll do the same thing here by dehalogenation. By dehalogenation of dihalides, by dehalogenation of tetrahalides. Take 4 halogens, that is tetrahalide, treat it with 2 moles of zinc, ZnCl2 eliminated, ZnCl2 eliminated. Mechanism remains same as we discussed in alkenes, same mechanism. So you'll get alkynes. So this is second method of preparation, right? Now third method is when you take Colbase electrolysis. Colbase electrolysis. We have done this also actually. Colbase electrolysis, that if you take dicarboxylic acids, but they should be unsaturated. That means there should be a double bond. If you take saturated carboxylic acid, then you get alkene. If you take unsaturated carboxylic acid, you get alkynes. So this on ionization with NaOH or KOH, it gives O minus Na plus, O minus Na plus. If it is aqueous, and we had seen at anode, it goes and do what? Oxidation. It will lose 2 electrons to form free radical. O radical here and O radical here. Now this oxygen is radical, so carbon should also be radical. So this bond will break homolytically. Similarly, this bond will also break homolytically, so that double bond, this carbon free radical will be formed. 2 moles of CO2 will be eliminated, and these two free radicals will combine to form a triple bond. If you want methyl here, take methyl here, right? So this is your call-based electrolysis for preparation, right? I hope it is clear. Now the fourth method is by hydrolysis of carbides. By hydrolysis of carbides. By hydrolysis of carbides. There are few carbides. I hope you have studied these reactions in P block. Even if you have not, see there are two carbides basically, calcium carbide, which on treatment with water gives you OH minus will combine with calcium 2 plus to form calcium hydroxide, and H plus will combine with C minus to form C2H2, that is ethine. So calcium carbide on hydrolysis gives ethine, whereas magnesium carbide, Mg2C3, right? Something like this. Most likely this is the correct formula. Mg2C3 on hydrolysis will give you propine, that is C3H4, and magnesium hydroxide. You can do the balancing. So carbides on hydrolysis gives propine. So magnesium carbide on hydrolysis gives propine. Calcium carbide on hydrolysis gives ethine, right? Call-based electrolysis. If you take unsaturated dicarboxylic acid, the same mechanism, I have taken it little faster because this is third time we are doing it. So you'll form its anion, right? That anion will go to anode, lose electrons to form free radical. Now oxygen is free radical, carbon should also be free radical, so bond breaks homolytically. So carbon O radical, carbon radical will combine to form CO2. So same thing happen here, one CO2 from here, one CO2 from here. Now this carbon also gets free radical, this carbon also gets free radical due to homolytic cleavage. Both will combine to form a triple bond, right? Now this is all you need to study the preparation of alkynes. Now we'll take its physical properties. That's also easy. Yes, done. Let's take now the physical properties. Pretty easy. So I'll write few summary points. It is almost similar as alkenes. C1 to C4 are gases. Physical state. We are studying physical nature. We are studying physical nature. C1 to C4 are gases. That means alkynes with carbon 1 to 4 are gases. C5 to C12 are liquid. And C13 onwards are solid. Right? Now, second method is, right? Now, the second method is, second property is, alkynes are soluble in water. Alkynes are soluble in water, right? Soluble in water. Slightly. Alkynes are slightly soluble in water. Whereas if you consider alkenes and alkynes, they were not soluble in water, right? Alkanes and alkenes, they were insoluble. Alkynes are slightly soluble, right? Now, alkynes have more boiling point and density than alkenes or alkanes. Boiling point and density of alkynes are more than alkanes and alkenes, right? And same concept, boiling point is inversely proportional to branching. We have studied it previously also. It is inversely proportional to branching, right? They are colorless, yes. They are most times colorless, right? So you can note it down. I'll give you some homework meanwhile, and we'll discuss one chemical properties. We'll discuss one chemical property, that is if you talk about its chemical properties, the first chemical properties is they are acidic. Alkynes are acidic in nature. If I give you some functional groups, water is stronger acid than alcohol. Then after alcohol comes your alkynes in acidic character. Then your ammonia, this is the order of acidic character. Then alkenes, then alkanes. And methanol is the only alcohol which is stronger acid than water, right? So why alkynes are acidic? Why alkynes are acidic? Why alkynes are acidic? Because I'm correcting it and writing it again. Why terminal alkynes are acidic? Only terminal alkyne. That means triple bond should be present in the end of the chain. Then only it will be acidic. For example, RC triple bond CH. This hydrogen is acidic. Why it is acidic? Because the carbon here is sp hybridized, 50% S character. We have seen percentage S character is directly proportional to electronegativity, and electronegativity is directly proportional to minus I effect, and minus I effect is directly proportional to acidic character. So why alkynes are acidic? Because carbons are sp hybridized. I have discussed it in GOC also. sp hybridized, more percentage S character, more electronegativity, more minus I effect, more minus I effect, more acidic character, right? So, but terminal alkynes only, if you take this alkynes, not acidic, because there is no hydrogen bonded to sp hybridized carbon, right? If you talk about their reactions which show acidic nature, so this is very important. If you take RC triple bond CH, treat it with NaNH2, you'll get NH2 minus, which can act as a good base. Alkynes are acidic, they will lose H plus. So you'll get RC triple bond C minus. So it's an acid base reaction. So it is a salt. Now this is very, very important. This is very, very important. If you treat it with CH3Cl or CH3I, whatever, chlorine is more electronegative, so bond will break towards chlorine. Carbon will get a positive charge, so C minus will attack carbon having a positive charge. So you can attach methyl or any other alkyl group, and you can convert your terminal alkyne to internal alkyne. That means you can attach any alkyl group on your alkyne. Very, very important. In this reaction, alkynes are acting as acids, right? So that's all. Now, one important thing which I want to say here is we have finished alkenes. Alkenes DPP will be uploaded on your drive, right? By tomorrow, we'll upload the alkenes DPP. Keep solving. 17th of May. 17th of May, all of you will write major test 5, right? That means coming week, you'll have a chapter test of this as well as major test also, right? So prepare accordingly. You'll write major test 5 on 17th of May, right? Drive will be updated by tomorrow. You'll solve the questions on alkenes. Saturday we'll upload alkynes. Monday we'll upload benzene, and that's all. Any doubts you can ask. That's all for today, student. Thank you for joining in. Chapters for major test 5 is last chapters have 50% weightage and old chapters have 50% weightage, right? All right, we'll talk about it, Adesh. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Bhumika. Thank you, Fiza. Thank you, Neeraj. Same to you. Thank you, Anusha. Samriddhi, what you said, I could not see. In mass, limit chapter is not completed. We will finish it, don't worry. Thank you, all of you. Okay, so H2O2 in hydroboration basically transfers the oxygen, right? I know, Prashant, we'll do it, don't worry. Sonali, so H2O2 is used for the transfer of oxygen. It converts R to RO. Now there's a complete mechanism for it. Once I get some time, I'll discuss that. Right now, due to shortage of time, I have not discussed. But anyways, even if you know the mechanism, it won't matter much. Without mechanism also, you can do its questions. Wherever mechanism is relevant and required, I'm discussing it, right? But hydroboration and all, you can do without mechanism also. Does not matter. We still have to figure out that, Chandan. I'll discuss with the team and then decide. We have not yet finalized it, so we'll discuss it and then I'll let you know. Because alkynes are polar, Sonali. Alkynes are more polar than alkenes, no, because of more electronegative carbon atom. Thank you, Harshla. Harshla, which batch? Harshla, which batch? Chandan, I told you most likely. Yeah, Chandan, definitely. Next week we can start. College, Harshla? I know, Netra. I know that. I know that. We are figuring out if we can do something about it. We'll let you know. Let's see. Most likely we'll keep the test in weekdays and plan to do it accordingly. Samruddha, what does that mean? Thank you, Ankita. Thank you, Chetan. Elimination reaction of ester acetate. Yes, pyrolysis. That we haven't done. Most likely we'll do in esters. Okay, got it, Harshla. Oh, thank you, Samruddha. Understood. Oh, interesting fact. I was not knowing it. Don't know, Chandan. It's announced. I'm from Delhi. It's announced, Chandan, but yet there is uncertainty. Totally depends upon our situation in this pandemic. It depends upon where and how we comes from. Huh? So if we recover fast, then it can improve fast. Then it can happen on the decided dates. Otherwise, I don't think so. It will happen on that days. I didn't get it, Samruddha. Chalo. Anyways, thanks for joining in. In which branch do I teach? I teach in Hubli right now. In fact, I've been teaching in Hubli for close to 4 years. Oh, I know that word, but why it came at this point of time, that I'm not understanding something. All right. Chalo, that's all. Prepare for your next class. Take care, both of you. God bless.